Hey, what's going on? This is Ariel from Icon for Hire. I don't always wear my own band's hoodie, but it's a little cold today in Nashville. So, diving right in, I am the vocalist for the band. I'm usually the one who does the interviews because Sean, our guitar player, just is kind of camera shy. I have to beg him to do these things with me, so it'll just be me today, but I will do my best to answer all the questions. First up is when and how did Icon for Hire form? So we met in 2007, getting ahead of myself, 2007 in Decatur, Illinois. I've been looking for bandmates my whole life practically. I met Sean, I heard he play guitar, and I was instantly oh my God, we gotta start a band. And then we got Adam to play drums for us. He was with us for the first 8 years of our career, and then he left to go be a normal adult, which whatever, I can't fault him for. What is the meaning behind your band name? Icon for Hire is us poking fun at the music industry. I think it's really lame how much power we give to the power of celebrity, essentially. It's not us calling ourselves Icon, it's us saying, hey, it's really messed up that you can buy your way into this system, pay to play, you can buy your way into getting a bunch of eyeballs on you and ears on you in a world where I think it makes more sense to have your authentic, true self be seen and connect with other people who see that and resonate with that. That's the way that the system should be set up, but the system is not set up like that. And here we are navigating this broken system, and that's what the name means. What was the first venue that we performed at? We performed our first show ever at Wake the Dead in Decatur, Illinois. And this was something we had to work really hard to do because we were just a baby band. We'd never played before. And artists ask me all the time now, how do you get your first show? Here's how we got ours. We started going to the venue. I think we would buy tickets. Tickets were $5 to see these shows. They were such small little shows. And then I started sort of sucking up to the owner, Tiavi, I think his name was. And I was like, hey, I've got a band, you should let me play. And he was super into it. Our first show went really well. We sold over 200 tickets. We pre-sold them to all our friends throughout the city, mostly Sean and Adam's friends. I don't really hang out with a lot of people. They're much more social, or they were back then, I should say. So we just packed it out with our friends, our family, all their ex-girlfriends and party buddies, and it turned out to be a great show. It was awesome. Who inspired each of you not only to get into music but to create your own? My biggest inspiration, I make it pretty well known, is Linkin Park. I love how they forged their genres of hip-hop, rock, new metal. They did so much for that scene, but I also most especially relate to the lyrics, and they are such a constant inspiration to me when I'm writing a band that was able to be really honest about how they're feeling, what they're going through, but not do it in a whiny way, and not do it, to me, I didn't think it's a cringy way. Sometimes there's different ways we can express ourselves, ways that can come across just differently, but I really resonated with them. And so I was 13, 14, 15, I was oh, they get me, they see me. And that still inspires me to this day when I'm writing, thinking, how can I make other people feel seen and heard, and I get them and they get me. Okay, here we are in the bathroom. I'm gonna curl my hair and answer these questions. We've got a live stream coming up for our patrons a little bit later today, and so I gotta get out of this top knot. The first question is, what is the album about? Our new album, Amorphous, is about all the things. I would think if there is a central theme, as I'm writing, I'm not really thinking from the beginning, here's the clear theme. I kind of have to see if any patterns emerge after the fact. And I think one of the patterns is that being human means you're going to be all over the place. At least that's my experience of it. So that means there's going to be moments where I feel like a badass and I feel like I can do anything. And songs like Warrior evoke that. Struggle Succeed on the bonus edition for Kickstarter, that song is all about feeling fierce and powerful. And there's a lot of songs that are a lot more vulnerable and dark, and that would be stuff like Brittle, Only Be a Story, Background Sad, and this album has the whole spectrum. Last One Standing, that's another boss one. So it encapsulates, is that a word? It encapsulates the whole thing, the whole spectrum of human emotion. And so that's why we wanted to name it Amorphous, because to me, amorphous means without clearly defined form, and I think that is what being a human is. There's no clearly defined form. We are making it up as we go along.
Lose focus, I'm alive.
Next, all right, what is your songwriting process? Our songwriting process, hold on, is this how? Yes. Our songwriting process, we usually have two different ways that we like to write. So the first way, probably my preferred method, is that I will sit down at the piano when I'm feeling inspired. I'll just be going about my day-to-day life. I'll have an idea for something cool, lyrically or a line. I'll sit down at the piano and usually a song or a chorus or something pretty cool will come out of that. And then I'll take that to Sean, I'll play it for him on the piano, and usually he'll be like, that's too slow, that's too emo, that doesn't work, and then he like adds guitars to it and makes it rock and, you know, takes it and makes it sound like an Icon for Hire song, not like a piano ballad. The other way is oftentimes Sean, being a producer, will be in his studio and make this really cool beat, and then send it to me like in an email, and I will write lyrics over that. And so it's about 50-50 split on the process. What would you say is your favorite song on the album, and what is your fans' favorite? My favorite song on the album, I go back and forth. I think it's probably Last One Standing. It's like such a power anthem. I just freaking love that song. Fans' favorite, our fans loved Curse or Cure. That was our first single that we put out for this album. Everyone really responded well to that. And I think the Last One Standing video has 600,000 views in a month or two. Do you hear the squeaky earlier? 600,000 views, so the fans are liking that one too, which is actually cool. A lot of times the fan favorite and my favorite is different. But you know what? Our very first single was Make a Move, and I love that song. That was one of my favorites from Scripted, and that is how a lot of our fans discovered us. So I guess sometimes we do have that in common. What inspired you to write a new album? We are constantly creating because that's what we are. We are artists who want to make, who want to express. I feel like sometimes if the song or the idea gets like trapped inside of me and I can't get it out, I'm not able to heal and work my way through it. So constantly creating and releasing music is just part of my lifestyle and part of my own well-being journey, I would say. It had also been a long time since our last album. Our last album came out in 2016, so we were due for an album, and we were on tour in Europe, and COVID happened, so we had to cancel our shows, head home. Our last show was in Italy. That obviously did not happen. Headed home, and then luckily a producer here in Nashville that we'd been wanting to work with because of COVID, his calendar was cleared, and so we were able to get into his studio. We merged quarantines together, and we spent April and May, maybe some of March, in that studio just banging out the album, and I feel so lucky we were able to do that. When comparing your release of Scripted and Amorphous, how would you say you've evolved? I think Scripted and Amorphous share some similarities in that they are both pretty rock-centric. We do view Amorphous as a bit of returning to our roots, and we know a lot of our fans really fell in love with us through Scripted, so we can understand why they would, want us to keep doing that heavy stuff, and we have evolved so much. So I would say this album is a little bit less experimental than our previous album, You Can't Kill Us. And so in that regard, it is similar to me in Scripted in that it's quite straightforward. I feel like it's quite a confident album, quite a self-assured album. Like we know what we're trying to do on there. We were able to do that. And we were really wanting to make music for our fan base. And I guess that's what's different with Scripted. We had such a small little local fan base in Illinois, in the Midwest region, and that was it. We were not international by any means. And we were maybe a little bit pigeonholed by our record label at the time, who had expectations of how they wanted us to sound, They didn't know, of course, it makes sense as a business model. You're going to want the band that you signed to be successful and therefore sound like other female-fronted bands. And so there was some pressure for some of that, and I just tried to ignore that and do what I wanted to do anyway. So it was nice. It's really nice now to get to be independent and get to make whatever kind of music that we want. Just so you know, this is going to dry like this, curly, and then I'm gonna shake it up. It's not gonna look this intense. Should we be expecting any more music this year? We have some acoustic versions of Amorphous songs in the vault coming out soon. And we're also looking to partner with some DJs, some people who can do some remixes for us. So that would be cool. And yeah, we actually, at the beginning of the year, we were back in the studio with the same producer, David Tulane, to record some new music. It's not finished yet, but the start is there and they sound awesome. So I don't know when we're gonna release those yet. Thank you for the reminder. I actually got to figure that out, so that's a good idea. All right. Next question. What would you say was the most difficult moment you've gone through as a band, and how did you overcome it? The most challenging time of our career was right after Warped Tour 2015. Sean, throughout the tour, discovered he was an alcoholic, which is something that a lot of times you figure out by going past your limits. So he was in rehab. I was trying to figure out how to make the band run. And then Adam, our drummer, left the band. And just months before we had filed bankruptcy and left our record label. So we were a newly independent band and we had just no idea. We were so scared. We had no idea what our future would look like. We had no idea if it would work. And then thankfully, it all worked out awesome. Sean got out of rehab. We figured out how to run the band on our own. We launched a Kickstarter campaign. It became the highest funded campaign of the year in the music category. Our fans had our backs. And so that was a really just special moment of triumph, like going through this huge obstacle that felt so hopeless and so insurmountable, and then coming through on the other side and being like, oh, like it's even better now than it was before, you know. That was pretty powerful. How did this moment impact Icon for Hire as a band? It taught us to rely more on our fans and to invite our audience into our struggle. You know, I think a lot of times it's easy to think you're the only one going through something and to not want to share and to be vulnerable with your community. And in our case, we've got just the most wonderful, supportive listeners who really have been there with us. A lot of our fans have been there with us for a long time through the ups and downs. And so I've kind of learned to let the world in, let our fans in on what's going on, you know, in a way that makes sense to do so. And ask for help. Ask for help when you need it. That's really important. What would you say to someone who is going through something similar? I guess speaking to anyone who is like at that bottomless hopelessness, just like there is no way out, I have fucked up beyond repair feeling. I think those moments are always going to come, and I'm kind of trying to make space for them and remember that they've come before, and then usually you come out on the other side, and they will come again, and you will come out on the other side, you know? Not resisting those moments of that bottomless hopelessness where it just feels like life is over, and instead being like, oh, this is part of being human. That's kind of been helpful to me, to make room for all of that instead of being like, this shouldn't be happening. Okay, so now we're going to talk all about live shows and playing Download Fest in 2019. Hopefully we can come back one of these days. What is your favorite venue to perform at and why? I choose my favorite venues based on the surrounding food. So I love El Corazon in Seattle because it means we're in Seattle. We can go to Pike Place Market and get this awesome seafood clam chowder by the ocean. I love whatever venue it is we play in Sacramento because of their bangin' lobster mac and cheese. I love the venue we get to play in Prague, the one we played out with Hollywood Undead that was underground. I should have all these memorized, but like in my defense, the fact that I even remember what city it was is a big step for me because I'm not great at that. So I can't remember the city and the venue name. That's beyond my my competence level. But I do think, you know, since I've missed traveling so much during COVID, when we do get back on tour, I'm going to try to do a better job documenting where we are, connecting with it, being more present. You know, sometimes it's really easy to just be really tired and not get a chance to go out and see things, but I think I want to try to immerse myself more. How long does your stage setup take on average? That's a great question. So when we headline, we'll probably spend an hour setting up lights and instruments and then half an hour sound checking. Of course, if you are in a festival lineup or opening, you're going to have the time that you get, you know, so you're going to have to go a lot faster. Our favorite track to perform live. I like performing Venom live because we like jump. There's a lot of jumping with Venom. The crowd sings along with us. But we have all these new songs. So we actually have a virtual live show happening on April 10th. And we've been rehearsing for that and getting to play the new songs, which is super fun. And of the new songs, it's a toss-up between Last One Standing and Brittle. I'm so excited to get to share these songs with the world and like get to perform them live. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the songs don't feel like they're all the way birthed in the world if we don't get to go live with them, you know? What happened at Download? We heard there were some technical issues. What happened? So there were some technical issues, but I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something to do with the sound. So we had our own sound guy who had a sound board and we were trying to patch the lines. I haven't been in tour world for a minute, so I can't even remember the technical words, but like patch the lines from like the stage into the board, and the board has all the presets of the mix, you know, so like the mix is saved. So if you use a new board from scratch, you can't sound check during a festival because there's thousands of people there the whole time. You don't get the venue before you sound check. So it's really helpful to use your own board where everything is preset, the mix from like the night before. So that way the mixer doesn't have to like take 3 songs to dial you in, because something like Download, you have a 30-minute set, you know? So I don't know exactly what happened. I just remember being backstage, trying to stay excited, present, and calm, and being like, oh my God, are we even gonna get to go on stage? And then just feeling so grateful and so much relief when we finally were able to. And we took the stage, and the issue wasn't even all the way resolved, but we just had to move forward. You know, we'd come all this way. We were so excited to connect with our UK audience that sometimes you just kind of gotta roll by the seat of your pants and not take it too seriously. You know, like I remember, this is fucking rock and roll. That's what this is. This is music, and it's all about the emotion, the power behind it, connecting with your fellow humankind in the audience. You know, if you can make the sound quality amazing, even better, but that can't be like the number one focus, in my opinion. What was it like when you finally got to perform at Download? It was amazing. It's just one of the coolest experiences. Download as a festival was so hospitable, you know. Each of the bands is set up backstage in these little like tents, kind of. They're not really tents, like little trailers. And you see all these other really influential, powerful artists walking around. There's this great backstage, and backstage there was Kevin Murphy hair salon set up. There was nail people set up to do your nails. Tattoo salon set up. Tattoo studio? That's probably what it's called. Words are hard. Great food, great camaraderie, massage. I mean, we've never been treated that well. Like, I'm like, this is insane. It was so next level. All that is really fun, but what really, really is something that I take away that I carry with me in my heart to this day is just not knowing what our UK audience would be like. We've only played, you know, our own headlining shows for 300-400 people over there. And then coming up on stage and seeing 10,000 people so excited and knowing the words to our songs. I was like, where did you guys come from? It was so freaking cool. I felt so grateful. I felt just so connected to the world, to my UK audience, to the Icon Army. It just was such a powerful moment, and I had so much fun. And you know, it could have been a thing where like I could have gone on stage mad and stressed that we couldn't play a full set because of the technical difficulties, but it wasn't like that. It was just joyful. It was like a celebration. That was cool. Will you be touring your new album, and will you be returning to the UK when it's permitted? Yes! Hell yeah, we will. Hopefully everything that's up in whatever, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and we will probably have to do the US touring first because, well, we actually did do a Europe tour quite recently. So we play UK when we're over, you know, doing Europe. That's obviously what makes most sense. So we'll probably do a US tour for about a month and then head over to Europe and probably just never leave and see all of our beautiful UK fans, of course. We usually play, you know, 5 different stops in the UK, so pretty much anywhere. We come to you. We really do. You don't have to drive far. Any teasers or upcoming announcements? Yes, the virtual album release live stream party, April 10th. It's at 2 o'clock Central, which I don't know what time that is across the pond, so you'll have to tell me. But we've got tickets for sale right now. You can even get VIP packages so we can hang out virtually like this and Zoom together. And then we also have tour merch for the show, which is super fun. And we've been working really hard on this, so I'm really excited to get to release it into the world, have you guys see what we've been working on. It's gonna be good. I think that's it. Rock Lifestyle. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry I couldn't wrangle Sean into this, but I really appreciate your support of our band, and we will continue to make music and continue kicking ass and keep doing what you're doing. Love you.
My emotions are the enemy. Be dead by now if I'd have done what they were telling me. Whisper lies, but they sound like half